What's going on, guys? Welcome back to another Elden Ring build video. In today's video I bring you the Dark Moon build at level 150, of course, to get you guys ready for the DLC Shadow of the Erdtree coming up here soon. This build was second place on the community poll under the bleed build, so I figured I'd hop in and make this build, and this was an absolute blast. This focuses on using the Dark Moon Greatsword with also casting some spells as a backup. But with all that out of the way, let's get right into the build. Alright, so first things first, of course, we are using the Dark Moon Greatsword at plus 10. Because it's Frostbite buildup when it's powered up, this weapon is an absolute powerhouse. So this is the main weapon of the build, and then on our left hand we have the Carrion Regal Scepter. Again, this has the highest magic scaling in the game, especially at where we're at right now. For the armor, I'm using the Black Knife Hood, the Blue Silver Mail Armor, Blide's Gauntlets, and then the Scaled Greaves. And as for the talismans, I'm using Graven Mass, Godfrey Icon, the Ritual Sword Talisman, and then also the Shard of Alexander, because it does boost the Dark Moon Greatsword, the slash attack that we do. And as for the Wondrous Physic, I'm using the Magic Shroud and Crack tier, and then the Green Burst Crystal tier, because we consume stamina with each slash that we're doing. And as for the Great Rune, like I said in the previous videos, we are always probably going to be using Radahn's Great Rune. And then as for the summon, I like using Ancient Dragon Knight Kristoff again, because, you know, we're still casting spells. We want a tank as a summon, and he is a great tank to have. And for the stats for this build, again, this is my astrologer build, guys, so I'm using 50 vigor, 30 mind, 25 endurance, 16 strength to meet the requirements of the Dark Moon, 12 dexterity, 80 intelligence, 7 faith, and 9 arcane. Basically, I just did not touch faith or arcane for this build. So that is the stats for this build, and since we are at 80 intelligence, we do have a few spells that I like to add in here. So of course, Terra Magica will give us a boost in damage, the Ranni's Dark Moon, because it fits the Dark Moon Greatsword theme, also puts the debuff on enemies. I like having Comet Azure just as a backup, especially if you want to switch out the one of the tiers for the Cerulean Hidden tier, to just like melt bosses with it. I like having the Great Glintstone Phalanx spell, because it can cause a stagger. And then 2 Comet spells along with Glintstone Ice Crag to keep the Frostbite on the enemies. And then of course, we want to power up our Dark Moon, and this will be our main source of attack, but we have the spells as a backup, which adds a nice touch to this build, so we can do a little bit of physical, but also casting magic as well. And that is pretty much it for the build, guys. I'm just going to show some boss gameplay with Dragonlord here and also Maliketh. If you guys are enjoying these builds, please let me know down in the comments below and what builds that you guys want to see. And make sure to drop a like and consider subscribing to the channel for more of these. So enjoy the boss montage. Let me know what you guys think. I'll see you all in the next video. Deuces.
You did something totally irresponsible for not here. Verdict that was in tricky. You could look back in cases. Very rare to ever be felony charges when the gun is stealth. It is used in connection with another crime. Right, I had to find another federal case with only one gun. Because once used in connection with another crime, there were no other crimes committed, and the person had no criminal record, and ended up being a tactical matter. And distributed intelligence and it reflects the did thank you for us advices and help stop tonight of with his son Hunter in Delaware for friggin' Rachel Scott on White House Radio. As we were on to murdering President Biden for David First Farm, reading it on the air, making it very clear on the president plan against deeply personal by the family.
That is something that many American families go through. Or we're going to really try to distance from this thing for tonight. He does say that he loves and supports his son Hunter, and all of a sudden he does ultimately respect the outcome of this verdict. The sharp contrast to his rival former President Donald Trump, who continues to insist that the justice system is being weaponized against them, and at the time perhaps what's still to come in this campaign. Donald Trump has yet to comment on the guilty verdict of Hunter Biden.
Rachel Scott at the White House. Rachel, thank you. In the meantime, to the other news tonight, we have learned that 8 migrants who entered the U.S. illegally across the Mexico border have now been detained tonight, suspected of having ties to ISIS. Here they are, Tonight, 8 migrants from Central Asia who entered the United States illegally through the southern border are in federal custody over suspected ties to the terror group ISIS. The individuals from the former Soviet Republic of Tajikistan came to the U.S. since the end of last year. They were vetted at the time. Law enforcement sources told BBC News authorities then uncovered information raising suspicions about possible affiliations with ISIS, and some of the individuals were monitored and eventually all were detained. New York, Los Angeles, and Philadelphia. The FBI does specifically warn that modest radicals might try to access the United States from the Mexican border.
There is a particular network where some of the overseas facilitators of the smuggling network have ISIS ties. They were very concerned about.
This year, Russia arrested migrants from Tajikistan in connection with an attack on a concert hall outside Moscow that killed scores of people. While there's not much information to charge these 8 Tajik migrants, David, we're told they're now likely to be deported. David,
Eric Petersky with us today.
Eric, thank you. We turn next year to see feature the secret reportings of Supreme Court justices, Justice Samuel Alito.
Thou who approacheth,